Hello, good morning, everyone. I know I'm coming after a long time, so let's talk about a very interesting. I was actually, communicating with few of my colleagues. So myself, Guna, and I have around more than a decade of experience into various role in the IT industry. And I was actually communicating few of my colleagues who are also at my same level, like they are a senior engineer or technical architect. And last week, one of the very interesting conversation it came out like they are all saturated. They all tells they are actually doing quite good at their current job like an architect or engineering manager. But one of the pain point they are facing that they are unable to move to the next layer. For example, suppose I was actually talking one of the senior engineering manager. Yeah, so what his frustration was that even though he's performing quite good in his current job, but he is not able to showcase his potential, or the higher management is not giving much importance, to his next capabilities. For example, he wanted to get to promoted to a associate director of engineering, but he is not able to communicate. And at the same level, from the higher management also, it looks like that they are not quite interested to bring it bring him to the next level. So this is just a few of the conversation that I had from my own experience. And I think this is most of us who are actually in the mid level in the career, who are actually having around 10 to 16 17 years of experience. They also struggling the same thing. So in this presentation about 20 minutes, I'll be covering few of the actionable steps, how actually you can strategically think to actually go to your next expiring role. So that's what it will be whole presentation about. I'll be actually giving why actually we face this problem, and I'll actually share a few of the actionable tips such that actually you can start doing from today onwards, and you can have a timeline, and within that timeline probably you can see some result. So I'll start my conversation like these are the main pain points or the problem that actually the people who are in the mid level they actually face. And out of many points, so these are the key points that actually I think that we should discuss. Like we do not know about our next role. So many of us actually think that we should be promoted to the next role, but many of us are not quite clear what is our next role, what actually we'll be doing, what are the few of the activities we'll be performing while actually we get to that role, and how can we position ourselves from wherever we are to showcase few of the skill set to the higher management that actually we are capable of doing those kind of activities. That is one of the things. And many of the people I also told while starting this conversation that many of us are just focusing on the current role. We think that working hard in the current role will actually eventually lead to the next promotion. uh, that is correct partially, but that is not the whole portion of the equation. So we need to actually think beyond our current capabilities. Another thing is that ineffective messaging. So we all actually showcase our best of our work, whatever we are currently doing, and we imagine that those work actually will elevate us to the next promotion. Again, so whenever we do actually our current task and we only showcase only that particular task without keeping much attention to what actually it can bring value in the next level. So that is nothing but a your messaging should be curated in that way. So we need to also think about in that direction. And ineffective messaging is actually one of the reason why we feel that we are stuck in the same position. Another thing is that lack of visibility. We think that we are working whatever it is expected, but we do not know how to showcase to the people, to the decision maker, who can actually help us to bring up to the level that actually we want. So these are the main pain points that actually I have seen over and over again with my colleague and few other seniors that actually I have talked, I think these are the things, we need to think strategically, and how actually we can actually perform some of the actions so that actually we can go to the next level. So that's how actually this is the significance of building a personal brand. So whatever the pain points that actually I have covered in my first slide, so you can actually mitigate those challenges by building your personal brand, and that's the reason personal brand is very important. So you can think of personal brand like a how actually you are communicating to your colleagues, to your bosses, or how actually you are presenting yourself in an online forum, like in case of professional forum if you talk about the LinkedIn, or there can be many other social sites, so where your visibility could be actually presented. Now we'll talk mostly about how actually we can create a personal brand, but before that, the less you say, the more your words means. So this is one of the quote from this renowned speaker. So you should be very much clear about what you are communicating, and the more precise it is, better people is going to be understand your message. Now, how suppose you are at a managerial position, probably a senior manager, and you want to go to associate director or director level. So this is just an example I'm giving to bring some focus or attention. Now, how do you actually communicate, or how do you actually showcase your potential that yes you are actually capable of going to that level. So these are few of the you know actionable, I would say, uh, these are a few of the aspect that actually you need to keep in mind when actually you are communicating with your boss or making one-to-one conversation with your peers, such that you give a vibe such that people get to know that, whoa, this guy is actually elevating himself. So that message should pass in every of your communication action, and also kind of the projects, and also the tasks that actually you choose. So this is all strategic mindset. You need to use your strategic mindset. I am definitely going to touch upon a little bit about that, and hopefully you get benefit out of that. Now, one of the thing is that communicate with a strategic mindset, like as a manager or as a mid-level professional, we talk about the mainly executable tasks or the operational activities. But if you want to communicate to a higher management, your messaging or your vocabulary should be in that business language. What I mean by the business language is like in a value term or the impact. Suppose you were building one product. Let's, for example, you are actually building some product in a retail chain. Okay, so for example, as an engineering manager, probably you are might be focusing on only building the stuff, or delivering the software and all. But now if you want to go to the next level, you need to start thinking about how that delivery is actually impacting the business, probably in terms of gaining some revenue, or probably acquiring some new clients or customers. So how your actions or execution is actually impacting the business in terms of value. So you need to start thinking in that direction. Let's come to the next things. Demonstrate your leadership and influence, and this is very, very, very important. Now, how do you actually demonstrate your leadership and influential skill? So one of the very practical way actually you can showcase is how do you communicate with your peers? Do they actually give value when actually you communicate, or do you think that they are actually gaining something out of your normal communication for their efficiency of their work, probably in their profession, or probably in day-to-day life? So you need to influence, so your communication style or your presentation, how do you behave, your body language should say that, okay, I should be learning something from that person, and definitely it's going to benefit me. So that is nothing but an influential skill, right? So you need to influence, And to influence, you need to have some kind of hands-on work that you have already done, that actually brings some kind of credibility to the conversation. Another thing is that showcasing the big picture thinking. So it again goes to a strategic mindset, like instead of focusing only very nitty gritty of the things, or very detail oriented, at the same time you also need to think from a very high level perspective, that how those smaller blocks helps you to actually get a bigger picture. So you need to think both from the top to bottom, and also you need to go and in a detailed oriented way, that how this small executable actually it is helping to get a bigger goal. So you need to be visionary, so you need to know how to clearly define that vision, and how actually you can come up with a mission assessment, such that your roadmap can follow to deliver that mission, right? So cultivate a broad network. So this is very important, because uh, so I'm actually telling from my own experience, and many of my career opportunities actually I have, you know, I have actually got from my connections. So deep connections really matters a lot, more than your digital presence. Digital presence definitely has its own purpose, but even in my own experience, connection. I mean the deeper connection, like you have probably you build through your some personal relationship, or going to some kind of seminars, or probably in a strong bonding from your own colleague. So it those are very helpful, and you need to see in a way that being in that relation, how actually you can bring some value to the other people, right? So that's how actually you need to start thinking about how actually you can maintain that relationship. And maintaining that relationship is only possible when actually the other people are benefited from you. So you need to think in a way that how actually you can provide some kind of value to the other person. So that is one of the things that you need to keep in mind while building some network. Develop presentation skill. It is very important. Be it presenting to the higher management, or just your personal presence. So whenever actually you go and meet some kind of person, how your body language is, how your communication style is, uh, how you are actually responding few of the questions, the kind of questionnaires you are asking, it brings a lot about you actually. Okay, now even though if you are actually trying to present in a boardroom, or to your senior leaders, how actually you present, how actually you bring some kind of credibility from your side, even it may not be credibility from your own research, probably how can you actually bring some kind of authentic source, and actually add in your presentation. That is one of the aspects. How your typography is, what kind of color format is, what kind of graphs or visuals you are showing, so that the senior leaders can understand instantly. So it not necessary that you are actually putting lots of bullet points, text and all, but more you can present in a visual manner, it is better for the audience to understand. So there are different ways you can use different graphs, to present data. You can actually use those graphs. So this way actually you can help, or you can help the audience to get your message, whatever you are trying to so again, actually I am coming to the same thing, that your messaging. So messaging is very important, right? Whenever you are trying to showcase some of your capabilities, so you should be actually build those messages, create those messages, and share in this presentation skill. And contribute to strategic planning, as I told uh, how actually you were thinking long term, and vision mission, again I just talked about, and how actually you can actually help to come up with a roadmap, such that your team can actually follow to actually deliver your end result. That's the thing actually I'm going to talk about, how actually you are going to create your personal brand in action. Now there are many ways actually whenever you actually present. Okay, so your executive presence is very important. So executive presence means, as I was also talking in one of the aspect earlier, like how you showcase yourself, how your dressing style is. In case of presentation, what kind of fonts you are using. Fonts, those typography, those colors also tells lots about you. What kind of visuals you are bringing, how smoothly you are able to communicate your, whatever you want to share your content to the audience. What kind of audience you are picking. Are you actually communicating to all the audience, or you are actually focusing few of the audience, such that you can actually, you can be sure that they are actually getting your value, whatever you are expecting to share. So there are lots of things. Now let's talk about how actually, in the present situation in your professional area, or title or role, whatever you say, you are actually start executing all these things. Like, you can actually, change your communication style. For example, as I told, instead of task focus, you can start developing your thought process in terms of value, in terms of the impact, right? Next, start with your immediate, supervisor. So, you can actually start practicing all these things, with your immediate boss. Probably you can actually help him to, get done few of his tasks much easier, and you can actually help him as a shadow resource. That also helps. And now another thing is, you need to talk, you need to start talking with your, you need to make some connection with your executive. And it is not the connection, you need to know what kind of vocabulary you will be using, so that you get noticed as a, potential leader on their eyes, right? So you need to know their business vocabulary. As I told you, this is nothing but, you can start it, you start talking about the revenue, the different, customer impact, the strategic objective. In that way, they will be getting to know about that. Okay, this person has that business knowledge, not only the executable, hardcore skill. So this is how actually you are going to demonstrate your business skill. Now suppose you are in a seminar, or you are actually meeting few of your executive for the very first time. So how do you introduce? So of course he may not, or he may or may not be knowing you for a very long time, or very, yeah. So how do you actually present yourself? So that's the reason your introduction is very, very critical. Now, few of the things I am just trying to cover in these slides, right? What are few of the aspect that you will be keeping in mind when actually you are introducing? For example, instead of uh, sharing what you do, or what actually you are presently doing, instead of saying that, you can tell what value you can bring to the, to the company. For example, you want to go to a next level of in the career ladder, and probably you are actually as an engineering manager. Of course done, but the thing is that how few of the things you are actually doing currently, but it can actually bringing some value to the company. You just need to change that narrative. For example, you are actually, for example, your main responsibility is as a delivery manager for some software product. Now you can actually translate the same thing, or you can actually change that narrative, like how improving 10% of your delivery is actually helping around, a few thousands dollars, while actually getting to the hand of the customer. Or probably you are actually helping the whole, bill process, or actually you are helping with the more efficient, software development cycle. So in that way, probably you are helping to, minimize the development cycle. In that way, you could able to deliver faster delivery. In that way, users are able to get your product much faster. In that way, probably you can able to acquire much more customer than it would have been, right? So this is how your value proposition, how whatever you are doing, what is actually helping them to actually, uh, to recognize that business value. So this is how actually you need to, craft your narrative whenever you actually, uh, uh, your species. Now you need to customize your introduction to specific to the audience. So if you know that the audience is from the same background, then it is much easier. But if you think that it's from a diverse range of audience and you need to curate, then probably whenever you are actually delivering your speech, you need to you need to curate in a way that they should understand that, okay, specifically that is actually targeted for them. Because if it is very generic, then probably the targeted audience may not get the full value of your speech. So you need to be targeted, and if you can keep some kind of specific example how that persona or the people or the audience is going to be benefited, then they could actually relate, and that is going to help. That is actually going to be helpful for them, and in that way actually you actually build a connection with the audience, and it is very very important. Now you also need to so confidence and authenticity, so you can bring lots of ways, like you can actually bring your own credibility. Suppose you have done few of the things hands on, or actually how to connect those dots, and that those topics actually you can bring into the conversation. Okay, so in that way actually you can build a powerful introduction. Now bringing it all together, you need to focus on building your personal brand. You need to start showcasing your capabilities and value proposition to higher management, and based on the different audience or the executive, so you need to actually change your communication side. So that's what it's all about. Thank you. Hope actually you got a value from this conversation. Thank you.